Okay, guys, section 7.1, example number 1, right? And it's going to say to us, write 29% and 49% as fractions in simplest, and in parentheses it says reduced form. So always remember, simplest means reduced, okay, for a fraction. So we want to make sure that it's written in its simplest form. Let's take number 29% first, okay? 29%, I know that I can always write this as a decimal. If I want to change a percent to a decimal, I take the decimal point and I move it 2 places to the left and I change it to 0.29. Because when I read that decimal, that says 29 hundredths. On your test yesterday, I said round to the nearest hundredth. 2 places, right? So this decimal is read as 29 hundredths. So if I want to write that as a fraction, I just write it as 29 over 100. Now the example asked me to write it as a fraction in simplest form. Okay, I've written it as a fraction. And now I need to see, is this thing reduced? Because that's what simplest means. Is it reduced? And it is, because 29 is prime. There's nothing that goes into it, right? And 29 doesn't go into 100. So there's nothing that I can divide into both of these numbers, 29 and 100, to reduce it. So it's done. But now I think that the next one's going to be a little bit different. All right? So let's look at this one. Remember, 45%, and whenever I'm changing percents to to decimals, I move it 2 places to the left, and I'm going to get 0.45. Easy enough. And remember, when I'm reading that as a decimal, as a fraction, when I'm reading that decimal, it says 45 100ths. Okay, so I can just write 45 100ths. It's a great thing about decimals. Okay, it's powers of 10, base 10. But now I need to reduce this. Okay, and something goes into both of them. All right, 5 definitely goes into both of them. 5 goes into 45 9 times, and 5 goes into 100 20 times. Okay? Now there's nothing else. Sometimes after I reduce it and make it smaller, I notice that there was something else that could have gone into it. But when I look at 9 and 20, there's not a common factor that goes into both of them. So that's it. This was 29%, and that's the same as 45%.